Very good morning to all my dear students. I welcome you all into the Industrial Pharmacy 2. So, dear student, we are on to the regulatory affairs, and while studying this regulatory affair, yesterday we was discussing the general considerations of the investigational new drugs, right? Now, while studying these investigational new drugs, we had divided the whole content from understanding point of view into the part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Now, as far as the details are concerned, we are almost covered the part 1, part 2, and part 3. So the part 1 that deals with what? Part 1 that deals with the definition of investigational product, definition of investigational new product, labelings of the investigational new product, and control of the investigational new product along with the promotion and charging for the investigational new product. The part 2 that was associated with the phases of the clinical trials of the investigational new drugs. So that was divided into the 4 different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. As we will move from phase 1 to phase 3, the number of participants, they will go on increasing. Their strength that will goes on increasing. In phase 1, that was say up to 100. In phase 2, say in few hundreds. And in phase 3, it is in hundreds to thousands. And phase 4, that is nothing but the marketing surveillance, or when the product that is going to be released into the market. After that, that is the phase 4. Then there is the requirements of the investigational new drugs. The requirement that must be in the form of the information, that must be in the form of the when it will goes into the effect, some of the exemptions, the IND protocol amendments, the safety reports, and information report amendment along with the annual reports. So these details already we had covered in our previous lecture. Now today we will see the part 4. Now this part 4 is associated with what? The part 4 that is associated with the responsibilities. Responsibilities that was associated with the sponsors, the responsibilities that was associated with the investigators. So now what these sponsors are and what are their responsibilities, that we will see in today's lecture. And then if time permit, we will go for the investigators brochure, that is said to be the IB. Now what that IB is, that IB is nothing but the detailed documentation which is to be done in case of this what to say, that filing process or the approval processes, right? So investigational new drugs and the different responsibilities of both people. Now which are these both people? These both people are nothing but the sponsors and the investigators. Now sponsors who are, these are the companies, and investigators are nothing but the physicians. So both sponsors and investigators who are involved in conducting a clinical trial under an investigational new drug filed with the FDA, that must accept and fulfill certain responsibilities. Now, what these responsibilities? There are responsibilities of the sponsors and there are responsibilities of the investigators. Now, the responsibilities of the sponsors, that includes selecting the qualified investigators, right? Selection of the physician, that is the responsibility of the sponsors. Providing investigators with the information they need to conduct the investigation. What investigation they want to carry out, that information need to be provided to the investigators. Ensuring proper monitoring of the trial. The proper protocol that is needed to be followed, the proper guidelines, these are needed to be followed. Ensuring the trial is conducted according to the plan and protocol contained in the IND. What the plan has been given, what the norms are there, what the regulations are there, what the guidelines are there, what the SOPs are there. According to that, the clinical trial that should be carried out. Informing the FDA and all investigators of significant new adverse effects and risks that are responsibly likely to be caused by the investigational new drugs. So whatever the adverse effects, whatever the side effects, whatever the harms, whatever the risk that the IND is producing, that need to be reported to the FDA as well as to that of the investigators, that is the physicians. Maintaining proper record. All record is needed to be maintained. When the drug has to be given, in what dose has to be given, by which route it has to be given, by which particular vehicle or medium it has to be given, all everything, the detailed record is needed to be kept and maintained by the sponsors. Disposing of unused supplies of the investigational new drugs. The drug which is in use and the drug which is not in use. The one which is in use, it's okay. For that, the record is there. But as far as for the unused drugs are concerned, the proper process, proper steps need to be followed in order to dispose that one. Unless the sponsor is a sponsor investigator, the sponsor does not actually conduct the investigation. Based on the GCP guidelines, other sponsor responsibilities that will include as per ICH GCP E6 5.12, 5.13 and 5.14. So all these guidelines are needed to be followed, and these are given in case of the ICH, in case of the GCP. Ensuring that the investigational product is manufactured in accordance with good manufacturing practices. The product that should be manufactured as per the GMP rules. Ensuring that investigational product is packaged in a way that prevents contamination and unacceptable deterioration during transport and storage. The proper packaging need to be followed. Supplying investigators institutions with the investigational product. Having written procedures that include instructions on the handling and storage of investigational product that sites should follow. Maintaining sufficient quantities of the investigational product used in the trial to reconfirm specifications that should the need arise. So the above represent good examples of responsibilities the sponsor that may transfer to a contract research organization, CRO, such as a clinical coordinating center. However, the ultimate responsibility for the investigational product that will reside with the sponsor. Any investigational product related duties and functions that are transferred to and assumed by a CRO are specified in writing. So that means what? Everything that should remain in writing. Just verbal communication that should not be done. Everything that should remain on to record, everything that should have the documentation, everything that is in the written form. Now, as we had seen the responsibilities of the sponsorer, there are certain responsibilities of the investigators, that is physicians. Now, investigators' responsibilities that includes providing the sponsor with a completed signed statement of investigator in the form of form which is provided by the FDA 1572. Conducting the trial in accordance with the signed investigator statement, protocol, and applicable regulations. So, whatever the outcome, whatever the study that was obtained by the investigator, that should be provided to that of the sponsors. And what the instructions, what the guidelines that was given by the sponsorer, the same instruction, the same guidelines are needed to be implemented by the investigator while performing the clinical trials. Protecting the rights, safety, and welfare of trial participants. So, healthy volunteers or the participant, they should be well informed. Without their consent, the study should not be carried out. At the same time, their safety, that is most important. If the drug that is showing any kind of hazardous, harmful effects onto the participant, the safety concern that should be given prime weightage. Obtaining informed consent from all trial participants without information, without explaining the whole things, without narrating the adverse effects and the possible side effects of the drug, the study should not be carried out. And after informing all these, the consent need to be taken from the participants. Maintaining proper record, all the records are needed to be maintained by the physicians. Furnishing all required progress reports, safety reports, financial disclosure reports, and a final report. Complying with institutional review board, what the instructions, what the standards set by the IRB, that should be complied, and ensuring the proper handling of the controlled substances. Controlled substances, these are the drugs which are said to be the highly potent drugs or the drugs with the severe toxic effects. So they should be handled with great care. Now, based on the GCP guidelines, other investigator responsibilities that are in accordance with the ICH GCP E6 4.6, which will include ensuring investigational product accountability. So, record that will give the account of these products. How many products had been received, how many had been used, or to whom it has been used, in what amount it has been used, how much amount has been left. All record needed to be maintained. How many balanced products are there? Assigning duties for investigational products to a pharmacist or an appropriate individual who has the necessary license for dispensing. Maintaining records of the investigational product from delivery at the site to dispensing to the participant as well as use by the participant, written by the participant, and reconciling all product prior to destruction. So, right from dispatch of the product till its handover into the hands of the participant, and how much the participant they had used and how much left, all that need to be maintained in the record. Ensuring that the investigational product is used in accordance with the approved protocol. So what the protocol has been given, according to that, the investigational product that is to be used. Explaining the current use of the investigational product to each participant and checking at intervals that each participant is following instructions properly. So that means there should be a proper tracking mechanism for the investigational product and its use. So all this is about the general considerations associated with that of the investigational new drugs. So in order to study and to collect the details, we had gone through these references. Now, after going through the investigational new drugs and their general consideration, we have to proceed with the investigator's brochure. Now, investigator's brochure is what? Investigator, these are nothing but the physicians. So, what the information that is needed to be maintained by the investigator, by the physicians, what documentation is to be maintained, what record that is to be maintained, all these that should be in accordance with that of the investigator's brochure. And we need to study all these into the investigator's brochure. So in order to go through this investigation brochure, we had divided from understanding point of view the whole content into the introduction, general considerations, the investigator brochure that should contain title page, the confidentiality statement, then the content of the investigator's brochure, the table of content, summary, introduction, physical, chemical, and pharmaceutical properties of the formulation, non-clinical studies, its introduction, effects onto the humans, then summary of the data and guidance for the investigator. So as per the summary, as per the guidance of the investigator, they should carry out the study. Then there are certain proformas, there are certain documents, there are certain annexures, appendices, that is Appendix 1 and the Appendix 2. So the study that should be in accordance with all these investigators' brochure. Let's go through the introductory details related with the IB. Now IB, that is the short form for the investigators' brochure. The investigators brochure is a compilation of the clinical and non-clinical data on the investigational product that are relevant to the study of the product in the human subject. So the drug which is to be studied, all the data pertaining to the clinical and non-clinical aspects related with that of the product and its study onto the human being. So all these that are included into the investigator's brochure. Its purpose is to provide the investigators and others involved in the trial with the information to facilitate their understanding of the rationale for and their compliance with many key features. So what the investigator it will do? The investigator it will use instructions, it will use clear-cut understanding, and it will facilitate the functioning of the investigators and all other functionaries which are involved in the process of clinical trials. Now, all these information that is related with what? All these information that is related with the dose, frequency of the dosing, interval of dosing, methods of administration, and safety monitoring procedures. The study which is to be carried out that should have proper rationale for its use. That, let's say for example, rationale means what? If there is a fever, so the drug which is to be used that should reduce the fever, or the category of the drug that should be antipyretic. So there is a rationale. If there is a emesis, the antiemetic, that is the rationale. The investigator brochure also provide insight to support the clinical management of the study subject during the course of the clinical trial. It means the investigator brochure that will give the in-depth data, in-depth information related with the study. That is what is said to be the insight. The information that should be presented in a concise, simple, objective, balanced, and non-promotional form that enables a clinician or potential investigator to understand it and make him her own unbiased risk benefit assessment of the appropriateness of the proposed trial, right? The information which is provided into the IB, that should be short, that should be simple, that should be easy to understand, that should be point wise, that should be objective wise, that should be balanced one, that should be in the form of the non-promotional form. Non-promotional form, that means you carry out all these activities, we will give you some tool. So that is the promotional. So it should not be like that. It should be non-promotional, right? We should not force investigators to perform the study. Or investigator, they should not be provided any kinds of the lucrative benefits in order to carry out the study or to give the results positively. It should be unbiased risk benefit assessment, isn't it? So whatever it will be, whether it will be benefit, whether it will produce any kind of risk, that should be unbiased. That should be without any manipulation, without any changes, without any interventions, which is to be performed. For this reason, a medically qualified person should generally participate in the editing of an investigator brochure. So in order to produce, in order to perform, in order to manufacture the investigator brochure, generally the medical personnel, medically qualified personnel, these are employed, these are included. But the contents of the investigator brochure, that should be approved by the disciplines that generated the described data. So there is a approval committee. So that approval committee, that should properly carry out, or that should monitor and give approval for the prepared investigator brochure. So this investigator brochure, that will contain the guideline which will delineate the minimum information that should be included in an investigator brochure and provide suggestions for its layout. So that should be proper guideline. It is expected that the type and extent of information available will vary with the stage of development of the investigational product. If the investigational product is marketed and its pharmacology is widely understood by medical practitioners, an extensive investigator brochure that may not be necessary. Where permitted by regulatory authorities, a basic product information brochure, package leaflet, labelings, that may be an appropriate alternative, provided that it include current, comprehensive, and detailed information on all aspects of the investigational product that might be of importance to the investigator. So just in order to get all these information, we can take help of the package leaflet, labelings, likewise. But again, that should be in accordance with that of the policy, in accordance with that of the guidelines of the investigator brochure. It should not be any kind of the promotional one. If a marketed product is being studied for new use, that means suppose already the product that is in existence, but its use is going to be changed. Instead of using antihypertensive effect, it is giving, if sometime it is going to be used in order to give the analgesic effect. That is a new indication which is already not there, or if the drug is already there, but the indication is totally different. An investigator brochure specific to that new use should be prepared. So according to the new use, the IB that needed to be prepared. The IB should be reviewed at least annually and revised as necessary in compliance with the sponsor's written procedures. So annually it has to undergo revision, it has to go for updation, it has to go for necessary amendments, and that should comply with that of the all written procedures. More frequent revision may be appropriate depending on the stage of development and the generation of the relevant new information. If any new information that is going to be introduced, so that new information that should be included into the IB. However, in accordance with good clinical practice, relevant new information may be so important that it should be communicated to the investigators and possibly to the institutional review board. Any new information, if it will come in, it has to be communicated to the investigator as well as to that of the institutional review board, that is IRB, and the IEC, that is the institutional ethical committees. Institutional Ethical Committee, its function is to carry out the research in the ethical manner and or regulatory authority before it is included in the revised IB. The regulatory authorities which will govern all these, that is needed to be reported to them. Generally, the sponsor is responsible for ensuring that an up-to-date IB is made available. The sponsor that is responsible for preparation of the investigators brochure to the investigators, and the investigators are responsible for providing the up-to-date IB to the responsible IRBs and the institutional ethical committees. It is the responsibility of the investigator to provide up-to-date information to that of the IRB and IEC. In the case of an investigator-sponsored trial, the sponsor investigator should determine whether a brochure is available from the commercial manufacturer. Suppose if investigator these are sponsoring the trial, then it is up to them, it is their decision whether to follow the available commercial manufacturer brochure or they should go for preparation. If the investigational product is provided by the sponsor investigator, then he or she should provide the necessary information to the trial personnel. The investigator they should provide the necessary all information. In case where preparation of a formal IB is impracticable, the sponsor investigator should provide as a substitute an expanded background information section in the trial protocol that contains the minimum current information described into this guideline. So everything, all that should be according to that of the investigator voucher. It will give all guidelines, it will give all instructions to the investigator as well as to the personnel which are involved in the process of the clinical trial. Now, the general considerations that the IB should include. Now, what these general considerations are there? So, the general consideration that will include the title page. This title page is what this should provide the sponsor's name, who is going to be the sponsoring the clinical trial. The identity of each investigational product, that is research number, chemical and approved generic name, trade names where legally permissible and desired by the sponsor, and the release date when the product that has been released. So this information needed to be maintained into the title page. It is also suggested that an edition number and a reference to the number and date of the edition it supersets be provided. An example is given into the appendix 1. So while studying the appendix 1, you are going to find all these things. So that is there in our next few coming slides. Then it should contain the confidentiality statement. The sponsor may wish to include a statement instructing the investigator recipients to treat the investigator's brochure as a confidential document for the sole information and use of the investigator's team and the IRB along with the IEC. So IB is what? IB is the confidentiality statement. It is the confidentiality document. And that should be handled, that should be used only by the investigators institutional review board, and the institutional ethical committee, and no one else. Now, the contents of the investigator's brochure. What will be the content of IB? The IB should contain the following different sections, each with literature references where appropriate. All these information that should be in accordance with that of the support, with that of the references. So that will contain the table of content. So this table of content that will gives an example of the table of content. It is given in the appendix 2. We will going to see in next few slides. Then the summary, a brief summary that is preferably not exceeding 2 pages. Just within the 2 pages, the summary of this CT clinical trial that should be there should be given, highlighting the significant physical, chemical, pharmaceutical, pharmacological, toxicological, pharmacokinetic, metabolic, and clinical information available that is relevant to this stage of the clinical development of the investigational product. So all these information related with that of the product that should be there.